Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Syed Sameer and welcome to today's AWS session. Today I'm going to cover on Amazon EC2, the very important Amazon services. Here I'll be guiding you with AWS how to launch the EC2 instances, Windows, Linux and the different configurations from the scratch to the advanced level. Let's get started.
Okay, so once you log into the AWS console, so I think you all know, but again, I'm just repeating. So when you go to google.com, if I want to access AWS console, I type AWS Management Console. This is the graphical console to connect to AWS. So when I click on this AWS Management Console, it will take me to the console. I just need to say sign into the console, put the username and password, and it will allow me to log in. So if I click on sign into the console, just want to share. So it will take me to the console. As I already kept the username and password, that's the reason it is allowing me directly. So now I'll get into the console. Okay. So let me explain you from here. So now once you log into the AWS console, on the right corner, you will have the name and account details. The 12-digit account details are there. You can see here. Actually, they'll provide you, around $150. So in that, this is the pending which credits remaining, and this is the 12-digit account ID. Suppose if you want to troubleshoot anything, or if you have any challenges where you want to reach out to Amazon, when you call the customer care, you need to provide this 12-digit account ID so that they can quickly check your account and they can help you with the if there is any problems on your account or anything. And after that, as I told you, this is the data center details. So all these are the different data centers are there in AWS. So always recommended best practice to use AP South 1 Mumbai. So whenever you want to do any lab, make sure that you select Mumbai because this is the nearest location for us. And then if there is any notification, it will show here. And if you want to do any command line, that is a Cloud Shell. And from here you can search any services. And here if you click on this, again it will show you the list of services whatever available. And at any given point of time you want to come to the home page, then click on AWS console home. It will take you to the home page. So today's session, last week we covered EC2 theory, around 70 to 80% theory we have completed. For the same thing we are trying to do today, the labs. So I clicked on EC2. So this is the graphical dashboard. This EC2 can be managed in graphical way and the command line way. If I want to troubleshoot or if I want to run any scripts or anything, I can do through command line as well. So first I'll show you the dashboard, how we can connect and how we can launch and what all we can do. Then we can see how to do in the command line as well. So once you click on EC2, this is service which Elastic Compute Cloud. So I already told you, Elastic means which is nothing but unlimited or extended or stretchable compute. Compute means virtual machines or an operating systems or computers in cloud. Cloud means nothing but any ITS service which can be accessible via internet with pay as you grow model. So EC2 is a service. This is a service where you can create multiple virtual machines. If you want to create any virtual machines in the cloud, you need to come here. Here, this EC2 basically meant for virtual machines, nothing but virtual servers, means any server operating systems. If you want to deploy, this is the best place where you can reach, where you can come to the AWS console. So once you get into the console, on the left side, you will find dashboard. You will find the global view, the complete view of the environment. You will find the events and you will find the instances, instance types, different types of instances, what we have, and ready-made templates and spot instances, savings plans in the instances, reserved instances, dedicated host, capacity reservation. These all are what different types of methods of machines will be available here. And after that, images are there, AMIs. where you can configure a ready-made AMIs are also available from the marketplace. Also, you will get the images. No, you want to configure something, customize it as per your requirement. That's also possible. And here there is a EBS, elastic block storage. So this is the thing which Anil can like, because she works in the backups and storage. So volumes, here this is nothing but Amazon uses volumes as nothing but storage, which is called as EBS, elastic block store. So here you can create the volumes, delete the volumes, upgrade the volumes, increase the volumes, whatever you want you can do. Snapshots, basically nothing but current condition. If you want to take the snapshots of volumes, you can do through snapshots. And there is a lifecycle manager also to create the rules. Then in the same service, you have networking and security, where you can create the security of the local computer. You can assign the elastic IPs, placement groups, and key pairs, where you can to connect, there is a key pair is required. And then we have a load balancer, then we have an auto scaling feature, and then different features are there. So let us go one by one. We'll not rush into everything. So let us see first how to launch an instance, and how to connect to the instance, what are the different methods to connect, and what are the options what you get in EC2. So when I click on launch instance, if you see here, first thing what it asked is that name and tag. So here you can provide the name what you want to give to your virtual machine, otherwise called as instance. So remember here, we generally call VMs in VMware technology or another technology, but in Azure also we say VMs, but in AWS the virtual machines otherwise called as instances. The name is same. You call, either you call a VM or the instance, it's the same. So I am saying it as instance as per AWS. What server you want to deploy? Let's assume you want to deploy a Windows web server. So I'll say web server 1. I'm giving the name. How many machines you want to deploy? It's asking. Do you want to deploy one machine, two machines, 5, 10, 100? Whatever you want, you can give that number here. You want to deploy 100 machines, you give the details here. You want to deploy 20 machines, you give the details here. It will deploy accordingly. Okay. So in this case, I'll just deploy one machine just for testing. Then I'll scroll down. Now, next very important tab what you got here is called as AMIs, Amazon Machine Image. So now you need to understand what exactly AMIs means. So AMI means Amazon Machine Image. So basically, what exactly this AMI will do is that it is a pre-configured template that you can use to launch an EC2 machine. Basically, it contains an operating system, it contains software and packages and configuration settings. So you get ready-made all those things. You just need to select the image and deploy it. Like, it's like a master copy of a laptop or a desktop, you can think, where you can clone the machines, where you no need to do everything from a scratch. You just select the image and it will deploy it. So in a nutshell, to understand easily, you can consider AMI as a pre-configured template. So here Amazon is providing you all the templates. You have Amazon Linux, you have Mac, you have Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE, Fedora, and different Debian, different types of operating systems are available. And if it is not there here, you can go with browse for AMIs. And you can, if I go and click on browse for AMIs, here what you'll get is that from the market also you can get it, from the marketplace also you can get the images. So see, I clicked on browse for AMIs, and here I can search what AMI I want. For example, let's assume you want image from marketplace is nothing but in your mobile phone Play Store, like where you can download the packages. Same way here also I can do that. For example, I'll say I need SAP, so I type SAP and search. So the moment I type SAP and search, what will happen is that whatever the SAP related softwares with the OS images, it will show here. So you can see here we have, SUSE Linux server with on SAP, we have Red Hat, we have SUSE, different options you have. So whichever is you need it as per your organization requirement, you can select. And there is something called as community AMI. Now, what do you mean by community AMI? So you need to understand here, what is community. I think you know what is community. Community is nothing but a people where all researchers and publishers, who publicly share the, images, or it can be shared by AWS users on the community. Sometimes they'll put it on free, sometimes they can charge you as a paid. So basically it is not verified by AWS. When it comes to marketplace, it is verified by AWS. It's a trusted, but community AMIs can be anyone. Means I am a researcher, I do something and I can upload, and you can use it. So it might have any security vulnerables or malware or anything, we are not sure, but that is a risk you can consider. But as for the testing purpose and something you want to do it from third party sources, you can always try with the community AMI. No, you want to go with the official, then you can quick start AMIs. By default it is provided, and AWS marketplace 6144 trusted images are available. You can use whatever you want to use these images for your requirement. Okay, now coming down here, so I can select any image. So I am selecting Windows machine, and now you can see here, very good. Now the moment I click on Windows machine, it gives me the images of the operating system. So different images it will provide you. It can be Windows. So because I selected Windows image, it will select only the Windows, but different versions in Windows operating systems it will provide you. Like if I drop down here, you can see Windows Server 2025 is there, Core Base is there, Windows 2022 Base is there, Core Base 2019 is there, 2016 is there, SQL Server, Windows with SQL Server is there, and Standard, Enterprise, all those things are available. So whatever you want as per your company requirement, you can select. So I am selecting 2022 as a base, as a free version. So I want to select this, and let me scroll down. So it's loading. We just need to give 2 minutes of time. Okay, so it got selected. So I scroll down. Okay. So image automatically loaded the AMI and the details, and it's a verified, the provider has been verified. So this is Amazon's official AMI. So all the, if it is a Linux, by default it will be free, license will be there. If it is a Windows, the license cost is included with your EC2 pricing. So you no need to bring any separate license. So it comes along with it. So you no need to worry about it. And now if I scroll down here, there are types of instance varieties are there. You can see here there is T3 micro, which is a micro instance where it provides you 2 CPU, 1 GB memory. And if I go further down, we have 2 CPU, 2 GB memory, T3 small. Then if I go further down, C7i flex large, 2 CPU, 4 GB memory, M7, 2 CPU, 8 GB memory, T2 nano. There are so many options are there. T2 large, T2 extra large, and all. They are grayed out. Why? Because we are going with the free tier. So right now, so if you are paid, then you can enable that and you can proceed with further. So I'm going with T3 micro, 2 VCP, 1 GB. That is good enough for us to launch and test the machines. Then if I scroll down, there is something called as key pair. So what is key pair? So by default, what happens is that all these images of Windows or Linux needs the password, right, to connect to the instances. So this key pair is nothing but it's like a security credentials which is used to connect securely to your EC2 instances. So basically it consists of two parts. One is called as public key and second one is called as .pem file. So public key is basically stored by AWS on your EC2 instance, and private key, which is nothing but which you can download and you can keep it safely to authenticate. So both the key, basically these key pairs are needed whenever you want to connect and decrypt your password. You need this key pair. So you always require a single key pair, whether it can be once you create a key that can be used for Windows also, Linux also, any number of machine. Basically a key is required so that it can decrypt your password. For the Windows, for the Linux machine, it can be helpful to decrypt by converting PEM into PPK, or a direct PPK also you can create. So I'm saying create a new key pair. So what kind of a file you want, it's asking. So I go here and I'll say Win. I selected Windows and I'll select create a key pair. So desktop, I am saving. So one key pair got downloaded. So not to worry now. Now what I'm doing is that now it's asking for the network. So currently we have not discussed about the VPC. If you have a VPC, you can create a network. So by default, one default VPC will be provided. That is nothing but a network in AWS environment. Now what I'll do is that I have created my own VPC, nothing but my own network. Now what is this network, how it works? We'll see later. So right now, no need to worry. So there is a subnets are there by default. So it has selected one subnet. I just given a name called Linux subnet. You can give any subnet. It's just for testing purpose. I created. It's already created. So I'm using that. And then we have something called security group, nothing but local firewall for the instance. So by default, the security group will be created at the time of creating a VM. I can just further scroll down, then I can discuss here and I can put what I want. Do you want to enable the RDP port for connectivity, or if I don't want, so I'll go with the default. I don't do any changes. And there is an advanced network configuration also option is there. Like if you want any specific IP, you don't want to go with a default IP, then you can type here like what IP you want to give, like 10 dot blah blah, whatever you want, you can provide as per your network range. So I am going with a default. I don't want to select anything manual IP. And if I want to add any additional network interface, I can add. Then further I go down here and then I get an option called as storage. Here I can select how much storage I want, 30 GB, 50 GB, 100 GB, whatever the storage I want, I can select. But remember, maximum 16 terabyte is allowed. Then again, Amazon is providing you advanced details. Now you might ask me like from where it is taking. Basically backend, there is a volumes, there are huge volumes which are connected to the hypervisor of AWS, which is called as Nitro hypervisor, and the shared storages which are provided, and that you can directly use here. And you can you know here you don't have to by default storage has been allocated. You just use as much as you want and you pay for the utilized space. Then scroll down here. Here you have an option like, do you want to join to any active directory? Then you can select here if there is any active directory. So I don't have any active directory currently. And the second thing, do you want to assign any profile? I can do it. Do you want to define any name? I can do it. And then we have so many other settings like auto recovery. How do you want to do shutdown behavior? What you want when something goes wrong, what you want, whether do you want the machine to be stopped or what exactly you want. Everything you have different further options are there. Right now I'm not selecting anything. These all are the advanced options. Metadata you want, that also is there. And if you want to run any scripts at the time of installation, you can update through user data. This is also one more functionality feature which Amazon is providing you. All these are the optionals. Like if you want, you can do it. I don't want to do anything. I quickly want to execute the machine by clicking on launch instance. I clicked on launch instance. So within a minute of time, we completed the configuration and we have launched the instance. So once I launch the instance, it will say if it is successful, it will say success, and it will automatically create one instance ID. When I click on the instance ID, it will actually take me to the the console back on the dashboard, and it will provide me the details about the launch of my machine. So on the left side, I can click on instances, then it can give me all the details. So now when I clicked on that instance, it has provided me the details of instance summary. What is the instance ID it has generated? What is the public IP address it has been provided? And what is the private IP it has been given from the network? So this public IP is free of cost. There's no charge. What kind of instance model it has selected? What is the VPC ID it has been used? What subnet it has been used? If there is any elastic IP for we using, what elastic IP we are using, that also will be provided. Then we have status and alarms. Then we have monitoring part for the machine, security part, networking, means storage, which means everything. The moment the machine is created, the complete information you get. And also it will tell you, if I click on the instances, it also provides me the high level information about what name I have given, what is the ID, what is the instance type, and status checks. Basically it will do three status checks: hardware and software and the drivers. If there is anything is there, that checks, it will validate. And if I define any alarm, we can also define. And which availability zone means, every machine requires a data center. So currently it is loaded in Mumbai region, AP South 1. Again, in this region, we have three data centers: 1A, 1B, 1C. So it is presently, this machine is running 1B. Why? Because we have not selected any specified availability zone. So automatically it has taken. And it also provided you the public IP. And here it is showing monitoring disabled. Why? Because I have not configured anything. Security group, this is the launch wizard 3 security group it has created. If I want to give any name, I could have done there, but I have not done, so I left it. And the key pair I created by name called win, and platform windows and complete what time it has created. Launch time, it is 8:10 we have launched. So all this information is there. If I click on left side, so it is doing the status check. So ideally, status checks when it is 3 by 3 checks passed, which means that your machine is good to connect. So once it is good to connect, you can click on connect here, and here you get an option. One is SSM, basically session manager, and RDP client, and EC2 serial console. So let us understand. So it's a Windows machine. So quickly I can connect to RDP client and scroll down. Here it is saying connect using RDP client, and I can say download remote desktop file, and I'll say web server one. Okay. Then here I have an option called get password. I click on get password, and it's asking me to upload the file. What file? This is the same file which we downloaded as a key pair while we created the machine. So click on upload and check the desktop and select here all files. You will get that file. So I need to click on desktop here and scroll up. So this is the file which we need. Click on open and scroll down and say decrypt. So I decrypted the password. So automatically AWS generated the password. So once I connect, I can change the password, and after that it's all yours. Whatever you want, you can, you know, provide the password. I click on web server 1.rdp, which I downloaded, and I'll say connect. Daladoom. So you can see, right, username it's asking and password, and I will enter here the password and say click on OK. And all you go, so we are good to go. The machine is launched successfully. So you can see here it's loading. See, you got the machine. So as a cloud engineer, or you're trying for a cloud engineer roles, or a Intel engineer, so the machine's deployment is done. From here you can provide an access to, or you can make this machine join to your AD environment, and you can hand over to your Wintel team. They can manage these machines, and they want whatever they want to install, they can install. So the machine is good to go. So there is no need to worry. So this is about your the method how you can connect to the Windows machine. Okay. So now what is the other option you have? There is something called as session manager. So basically, session manager is what exactly this session manager is. It's a feature of a service which is called as AWS System Manager, which will basically allow you to securely connect your EC2 instances without using your SSH keys, or without opening the inbound ports. You don't need to worry about those things. If there is a system manager is configured, then you can do it. So all that you need to do is that you no need to open a port, SSH port or RDP port in your security group. So it all happens over a secure channel which is managed by AWS. So how it works is that the basically SSM agent, one agent software will be there, which you need to install in Linux and Windows machine. If it is installed, and you need to apply a role called as IAM role, and then without using these, without downloading any RDP file or anything, directly through session manager also you can connect to the Windows machine. So that is again one additional option. So right now it is saying the SSM agent was unable to connect to system manager because I have not installed any agent, nor I have configured it, nor I have registered it. So this is one more method which is which will allow you to connect to AWS. So we have session manager machine means connectivity, we have RDP connectivity, we have EC2 serial console. So basically this is again like for example, you want to connect to the console method, basically, which is nothing but for example, you want to provide a low level access which is directly to the your instance console, like a physical server, which means that you are not able to connect to your SSH, you're not able to connect to your RDP or a session manager. So this is one method which you need to enable your serial console. You need to go to the serial console access and install it, and then you can connect. But 99% people don't use this unless very very low. So only when the OS is broken, or there is very very recovery problems, in that case you go with this model. But in general, maximum people will use RDP client or session managers. These two are more than enough. So for RDP client for Windows machine, for the Linux machine you can use putty through connect. That's the more easy method. So these are the two options which you can regularly use. So now I have covered you the Windows machine how to deploy. The same way I will show you now the Linux machine how to deploy. Clear?
Yes, Sameer.
So now let's create how the Linux machine. Same method, click on launch instance and select the name, what name you want to give. I will say Linux machine. How many instances you want, you can select, scroll down. Amazon Linux, Macintosh, Ubuntu, which one you want, you can select. I am going with Amazon Linux. Then here the versions are there. I'll go with default version, scroll down. Same way, T3 micro I'm using. Key pair, now already I just created one key pair that is called as win. I will use the same key pair. It's not necessary that every time you need to create a key pair. If you have one key pair, you can use it. So make sure that that key pair is not deleted. So if it is deleted, there's a method to recover it, but make sure that it is not deleted, and you can use the same key pair for multiple machines. Then configure the network. So as discussed, I am selecting my own network called as India. And public IP, if I don't enable this public IP, I can't connect because I don't have any VPN or any as such anything to connect. So I use the public IP and I'll say launch instance. The moment I say launch instance, and it will allow me to connect. So, dadadum, you can see it is successful. So, as I said, you need to wait for 2 to 3 minutes till the checks gets completed successfully. And once it is completed, and you can easily connect. So, let's wait. I'm clicking on instances. Okay, so Linux machine is running. So the status is initializing. So some people connect directly at the time of initializing also. So it is basically it's good to wait till 3 by 3 checks are passed. Sometimes, as it's a Linux machine, the bootable will be very fast. So you can directly connect, but preferable to wait till the 3 by 3 checks completed. Now, when it comes to the Linux machine, the options got more options, and you can see SSH client, serial console as it is, session manager as it is. Sorry, SSH client is newly added, session manager and EC2 console, as it is. We have behalf of RDP, there is something called as EC2 Instance Connect. So basically, this is a graphical web-based client. So you no need to download anything when it comes to Linux. When it comes to Windows, RDP you need to download, because the Linux machine, it gives you directly. You want to connect via public IP or a private IP. If I have my network in VPC or I am into VPN solution, then I can use the private IP. But right now, I am connecting directly with my public IP address. Then go here. So by default, in remember this thing, the mostly all the AMI images, whatever is provided in AWS, by default, the username will be EC2-user. So I select here and I can say connect. So once I click on connect, so the graphical directly on my web browser, the Linux machine got opened. So you can see here, right? So I can directly from here itself, I can say sudo su, and see I went into the root mode and I am able to access my Linux machine. So very simple. So directly through console I can do. But some people don't like this directly on the browser. Now because they don't want, some companies doesn't open this browser HTTP port, they allow only through putty or some application. So you have this option to connect. Now if you say that I want to connect through putty, then what you need to do is that you can go and say putty first I need to generate a file to convert my PEM file to PPK, because I have not created a PPK file when I created a key pair, because I'm using the old key pair. So I go here and say load, and so all files. So this is the file which you're using for the Windows and Linux machine, same. So I click on OK and save private key. Yes. Desktop, I'll give machine as Linux test machine, and I'll say save, close. So I have completed creating a PPK file. Now what I need to do is that I need to have a putty to connect. I type putty. So basically these putty gen and putty softwares, you need it. So you can go to Google and you can download it. So in my case, I already have in my local laptop. So I am connecting directly. Now once I open my putty, here it's asking me for the IP address. So as I am connecting through public IP, so I need to use this public IP of the Linux. Go here and say Control V. On the left side, I think you all can see there is something called as connections and everything. So first I'll select the session here. Then on the left side, SSH. I need to select SSH. Then there is an option called as auth. Then there is an option called as credentials. Then it's asking me to upload my private key, which I just got created, and click on the browse option here. And I think the name which we have given is Linux test machine. So I click on select, open, and say open. So it's asking, we got that key. Do you want me to connect? And if you want to connect, you need to accept this condition that this has been attached to the so and so server, and this is the SSH fingerprint. So I'll say, if you trust this, please accept it. I'll say accept. It'll ask me the username, as I told you, EC2 hyphen user, and it's connected. So sudo su, so I can do whatever I want, and I no need to worry about anything where it is connected. Just use my black screen and start working on my Linux machine. You can create whatever you want and you can hand over to your Linux team. This is how you can create the machine in the Linux, in the AWS EC2, and you can connect to the Linux machine either through putty or EC2 instance connect, or I told you system manager is one more option, but for that you need to install the system manager agent, then you can connect. So all these are the different ways to connect to the EC2 machines. Now I'll show you other some features, some options what you get. Here you can see when I click on instance state, you have three options: stop, reboot, terminate. When you try to do, means the moment you click on instance state, because it's already started, that's the reason it is grayed out. Because it is running, it is hibernate. So I can do whatever I want. So if I want to stop, I can say stop. If I want to reboot, I can reboot. If I want to say terminate, means completely the machine will be wiped out. So these are the three options you have. Then we have something called as an actions. In the actions, you have something called as instance settings, where you have auto scaling group, you have termination protection, you have stop protection, you have shutdown behavior, recovery, credit specification, like this. So many different features are there, and mostly tomorrow I would be covering the next session where I'll explain you all other features of the EC2.